Hi, my name's Simon. The company's called Osteopoise, and the product range that we're going to show you today is called Right Stuff. The basic idea of Right Stuff is that it is a, shall we say, a better version of pillows, towels, teddy bears, the things that people use universally around the world to support a person in bed. So the main areas of concern tend to be things like legs, head support, trunk support. They're the main three areas. So we're going to focus on 4 of the items that we have in the range that will pretty much help you to deal with most of the common issues. So the large item here is called our leg aligner. What we're trying to do is name them in a way that it's easy to identify and sort of suggest what it does. We have the double pommel T-roll. So a lot of you will have seen T-rolls before, but you might not have seen one with an extra leg, codename Jake. Then we have our roll. This is our 1 meter roll, which we probably use about 90% of the time when we use a roll. There is one that's twice the length of that at 2 meters for when this isn't long enough. And then finally, our pillow. Now the pillow can be used at two ends of the body, the head end, which is what you might suspect, and then it can also be used at t'other end for legs, but we'll show you how that's applied in a moment. So to talk about the leg aligner, what it's made of, how it works. So this is Dartex, which is a high performance medical grade material. It's actually a coating, but we won't go into too much detail. So it's a 4-way stretch, breathable material, which is water repellent. So it is actually waterproof. Obviously, anywhere there's a seam, there's always a slight risk of ingress. But compared to many products of a similar type on the marketplace, this is much more robust when it comes to repelling fluids, etc. Think the letter W. One channel or one trough for each leg. If we lift the client's legs, place the pommel in the middle, one leg, each leg in each trough. In the centre pommel, there is a sewn wrap with effectively 2 wings or 2 wraps. They're easily applied, they Velcro. So you remember we said we might have one leg that's naughty and one leg that's quite compliant. You might decide that you only want to wrap the naughty leg, so to speak, and leave the compliant leg out. Freedom. No problem whatsoever. If you want to wrap both sides because you've got frogging on both hips, really, really simple. So we've applied it so that the air vents are at the heel end. Just to very quickly talk about temperature, moisture. So one of the classic questions that we always get asked is this going to make the person perspire or stew in their own juices, as we were once asked? And the answer is no. In itself, Dartex does not make the person warm up, neither does the filling. Now the filling, again, is another high performance material. It is a shredded, crumbed, viscous memory foam. The reason I emphasize the viscous is urban myth number 1, all foam has memory. Some of it not so good, bit like me, some of it much better. So it's the higher viscosity foam that you want. That's the good stuff, basically. That's the gold standard, simply because when it compresses, it will only compress to about 20% of its volume. After that, it will start to push back. So if you have got a client, although Ellie isn't that client, but you've got a central pommel down the middle of the leg aligner. So if you've got somebody who is adducting all the time and really pushing hard, and if there wasn't something there, you'd literally have bone on bone at the knees. The memory foam basically won't let that happen. So this is why and where it is much more superior to your traditional towels, teddy bears, pillows, etc. that people universally use. So you've got that nice pommel down the middle. The material, as we said, is waterproof. So again, we do have people using these who are maybe catheterized. that has not proved to be a problem to date. Moisture, temperature. Coming back to the subject of temperature, there are some people who genuinely struggle with their own thermal regulation. So we do have a thermal regulation product which works with the leg aligner, so you're still allowed to get the same benefits from the leg aligner, but that will actually address those issues, and it is in another video that we have produced, so do look out for that one. It will be linked in the description below. Obviously Ellie is now beautifully lying supine. Again, using the wedge. If you've got a wedge, and probably we ought to have the roll here, but we haven't got it at this precise moment. But what you can then do is you can introduce a wedge, you can put that in place. So if you have got somebody, Ellie, just oblige for me. So if you've got somebody that is semi-side lying in what I call the nursing home lilt, that 30-degree tilt, you don't have to take this out. So you're not going to lose the efficacy of the pommel between the legs, etc. You've still got side support, so you haven't got things just sort of falling apart, literally. We're talking about legs, obviously. So it still provides that support, but you can still do that turn so that you're still getting that pressure relief if that's what you need. So the leg aligner will work for clients who are completely supine. It will also work for clients that are doing that 30-degree lilt. It's not so good, and there are better solutions for clients that are full-on classical side lying, which we'll come to in another segment.